So I've been an employer to upwards of 400 people, and it was always tough because every year the insurance people would come into our office with their really fine clothing on, and they would make this wonderful impression, and they'd lay out this wonderful case about why I was supposed to smile and do jumping jacks for the fact that our rates were probably increasing 10 to 20% year over year. And I always scratched my head thinking, how is it that they walk out with a smile and we're supposed to do the same thing? And now we've got to have this whole business strategy on how to make up for that 10 to 20% increase in costs. And when things are skyrocketing, across the board, here's what most people are having to face: increased premiums, super high deductibles, these little windows called open enrollment where you're supposed to slip through this little crack and find yourself on board with a plan. And then I always marveled at this as well, how smart these insurance companies are. They really are like the thought of Las Vegas, where the house always wins. And so people will say, well, I don't really want a high deductible to have to deal with, and so can I just have a smaller deductible? And they're like, sure. So they raise your premiums, and you're like, well, I don't really want to have high premiums. That's messing with my monthly cash flow. Can I have lower premiums? Sure, we'll raise your deductible. So those are the two big silo containers that most people have to deal with. And as a result, as it says here, people are befuddled, they're confused, they're literally mad in many cases. And not only that, it's led tens of millions of Americans to make the conscious decision to just simply choose out. And I got to tell you, while it makes a lot of sense to do that, it also doesn't make any sense to do that, because at some point we're playing a very, very risky game and nobody wants to do that. And so I think what's great that has happened right here through DAC and YGY is we've got a way more effective solution that we've brought to all of us. And so let's take a look at that. So we have what's called, the freedom plans. And these are just really brilliant plans. I appreciate the thought that went into putting these plans together. So let me ask all of you a question. What if? So don't you just love the what if game? If you close your eyes right now and just think, what if? Don't be distracted by anything. Literally think about these and own what I'm about ready to ask you. What if you could have 10, 20, maybe more percent savings in rates over premiums with our freedom plans every single month, making that budgeted line item go down? What if we had a less expensive and higher value proposition for everybody to take advantage of? And P.S. by the way, I'll just tell you flat out why I am absolutely pumped personally about these freedom plans. David mentioned it earlier in the introduction. I've got a family of 5, and I know that we were spending exorbitant amounts of money on healthcare with pretty high deductibles. That didn't settle so well for me. So we looked at other alternatives and other options, and ultimately I was ecstatic to see that we had about a 60% reductions in rates versus previous premiums. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but I can tell you firsthand, financially, it makes a lot of sense. What if you did not have any deductible? No deductible. We are like, it's possible we're the only company offering no deductible right now as a solution. What if you didn't have to deal with open enrollments and we could customize something that made sense for you so that you could get health coverage at just the right time? Would that be cool? And what about this? How about what if you didn't have any pre-existing conditions? Think about that. Pre-existing conditions, who does that? Well, these plans do that, where we literally say, listen, we understand nobody has a perfect life and nobody has a perfect medical record. We'd love to welcome you into a family of healthcare where we can take care of you where you are. And what if you had access to a massive network, like a really respectable one? Here's what I've learned. A couple of things, David, that I've learned over time. When it's not if, again, it's when it's your turn to need special care and you've got to go into the ER, urgent care, or go see a doctor for a specialist on something that's going on. The thing you want to know is, who do I have access to? Who do I have access to? Am I having to take a drive into the sticks because my rates are lower and I don't have a deductible? Am I settling for second class or third fiddle? No. PHCS, do your own investigation. This is like Verizon. We've got people and like the largest network. This is one of those, the largest network. They're everywhere, all 50 states. So talk about convenience. That's the second thing people want to know. Okay, I've got access, but is it convenient? Can I just drive down the block, or do I need to take a drive for a couple of hours? No, we are super convenient. And then ultimately, think about this. If you're able to go out and recognize this as you're building your business or using your influence, every single person you know, everyone, not some, everyone works for somebody. And all of them have an employer who is either making available or actually offering some kind of subsidy for you to have medical care, medical services, some kind of a benefits program. And what if ours actually gave money back to the employer? Don't you think they'd be happy? I mean, if no deductible wasn't a big deal, if lower rates weren't a big enough deal, if access to a monster network wasn't a big enough deal, just ask somebody this. When was the last time your health insurance company reimbursed you? And look at the expression on their face. It's just wonderfully magical. So let's look more specifically. We are an organization called the SBA Freedom Protect Co-op. It's really a small business agency that is designed to work with anyone, all people between the ages of 26 and 65 years old before you go into Medicaid, and 26 is when you reach independence. We can help anybody, individuals, families, as well as corporations with people and employees. We are regulated by the federal government. This is an ERISA product, so catch this. You've got to understand the vernacular. It's so important. It looks like, feels like, acts like, and everything related to insurance, only it's not. Same networks, same access to all the people we just talked about, all the benefits that you would expect out of a typical insurance program, but catch this, it's an ERISA. An ERISA is powerful. It's an acronym, Employee Retirement Income Security Act. Been around, regulated by the federal government, so every I has to be dotted, every T has to be crossed. It's tax compliant, it's ACA compliant, it's partially self-funded, and a co-insurance type of a program. Very, very powerful. Bottom line is it gives you about the most latitude you can imagine having. So, and people say, well, does this meet the Affordable Health Care Act that was put in place by Obama years ago? Yes, it does. Everything about that was removed with the last presidency here, the recent presidency, except for people with 50 or more. So ACA compliance is in place for that. It meets university codes to cover your kids that are going to school away. It covers everything from primary care, urgent care, x-rays, CAT scans, lab diagnostic things. You want a drug plan? We've got an awesome drug plan. It's phenomenal. There's co-insurance on the drug and the prescriptions. People want to know, can I access a teledoc? Yes, you can. I use one on myself when I was just down in Arizona about a month ago. I needed to call in. I needed some help. They said, do you want to FaceTime? I said, no. I got some advice. It will work just fine. Everything we do is through a PPO with predetermined medical discounts. Next slide. And by the way, vision is in here too. So we got a vision, we've got a dental, and we have a prescriptive program all built into one concept with one fee. No nickeling and diming, and I love that, where they're not going, oh, you want a prescriptive plan, that'll be X amount of dollars more. Nope, everything's predictable, and I love that. can read about the plans, look at what they cover, pick your level of coverage, the limits that you want. You can even watch a video that explains everything to you. And then when you still have questions, you can contact us, as it says right there, and someone will answer any technical question that you have in just a couple of minutes. So now that you've got that under your belt, you're going to receive a welcome email. Okay, you're going to be welcomed into the family. You're going to get your cards in the mail. A really cool envelope is going to show up. You're going to receive 2 cards, one for you, one for the other person in your family if it's a family plan. If you want cards for your kids like I do, make photocopies of them and have them put them in their wallet. So it's as simple as what I described.